What other type of marketing do people pay you for your brand? I still haven't found it. Every other type of advertising and marketing, I'm spending money on ads, I'm spending money on billboards, spending money on radio. I don't know any other forms of advertising where someone goes, here, let me buy your brand and pay you money and I'll go wear it around. I go, there's nothing else like it.
You've been doing this for 17 years. Is there a stopping point? Do you plan on exiting? Do you plan on doubling down and growing?
I'm doubling down. Like, I am going all in. After 17 years, I feel like we're kind of just opening the can. It took me 17 years to get to 25,000 square feet, to build a 40 people team. And I'm like, we're barely ready to do our best work.
Austin, let me ask you this. What would be one of your best pieces of advice that you can offer to someone who's starting a business?
Push the car down the hill and figure out how to jumpstart it on the way, instead of like standing around trying to plan everything and making it perfect, to find out that there's not even a customer base for that. Get the leads, pre-launch the crap out of this thing. Doing the work and getting the customers are completely different things. By the time it actually launches, you should have built up this clientele that why can't you do 30 grand day one?
What have you found has been one of the biggest and most daunting problems that you either have yet to solve or have solved to help you elevate to the next level?
Laser focused and motivated on achieving a few things. I checked the box. I instantly realized there's got to be more. My shift had to go from like, I want to achieve things to I want to help others do it. I don't want to have a company that's just big enough that it takes care of me. I want it to grow so big that everybody in the company has opportunity of upward mobility and growth. And that's why I had to almost set my goals a lot bigger than I thought I needed to, because I got to the point where I'm like, cool, I'm okay. And then I look around and I'm like, I can't be the only one that's okay.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the 1% Podcast. I'm your host, Vin End.
And I'm Shane.
And today we're joined by our man, Austin Boyd. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks, man. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, we're super excited. Now, guys, Austin has a lot of phenomenal stuff to share with you guys today. He's going to talk about what it took to build a high-value print shop, some of his newer business ventures, and he's also going to discuss a lot about what it looks like to truly be a man of value and a man of virtue. Now, that may or may not seem like it's something that's important in entrepreneurship, but Austin's really going to get into how he's really built an entire business, worked with some of the most amazing and powerful brands in the nation, purely because of the fact that he puts emphasis and value on what it is to actually connect, what it looks like to be more of a go-giver than a grabber and a getter. And that really has a deep, deep impact, as he describes, on his philosophy of entrepreneurship and just living in general. So guys, we have got a really powerful show for you. I could tell this is going to be one of my favorite conversations of the year. So let's stick around. Let's see what we get from this. And I'm excited for you guys to listen to today's episode. So let's jump in. All right, Austin. So can you tell our audience a little bit about who you are, what you're building, and how you've done it?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Austin Boyd. I'm in Las Vegas. Man, I can't believe it, but I'm on year 17 of still building my very first business, which is crazy because I'm only 34. Every time I say it, it sounds weird. But man, I started in 10th grade making t-shirts and selling them to my friends. And it started like that. And then had this idea that it'd be super cool to just make something creative. And 17 years, to put it together real quick, 17 years later, we built a live print shop. We're doing merch and swag for businesses, brands, and events for companies all over the place. I mean, from professional sporting teams to Fortune 500 companies. And it literally started sitting in class one day, sketching on a notebook, and running into a kid that was wearing the same t-shirt as me. And it made me so mad. It made me so mad because I thought I went to the mall and spent $35 and got something unique. And it just put me down this path of starting a business. Last year, we started our second business, started getting into investing. So right now, I guess I'm a business owner, investor. But the crazy thing is, man, after being 17 years into it, I'm actually more hungry, like more passionate, more curious and excited about like growing and learning more, because I feel like I finally have the tools to actually grow and take things and scale to the next level.
I love that. What's really funny is I actually have my own dream to have an apparel line.
Oh, really?
Shane, did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah,
Is it just black shirts?
it would actually be only black shirts with nothing on them. No, it's
We can solve that in about 15 minutes. Done.
Right.
We're gonna solve a life goal right here.
So no, I actually have I've always been a big fan, and maybe because my mom instilled it in me, but she always said dress well everywhere you go, because you never know who you're going to meet. So I've always been a big fan of feeling very good in my clothes, and as you feel good, you or as you look good, you feel good, right?
Yeah.
And so I've always really had this thought of, I know what I like. I like athletic wear, and so I wanted to come out with like different kinds of lines of motivational athletic wear, some sort of a leisure kind of brand when you're at home, maybe more of a high-end brand. And so I've had these different ideas in my head, because one of my ultimate goals is to have a whole lifestyle brand, and these would be a part of the lifestyle brand. And so one day I too will have a nice apparel line. I just don't know if it'll be something that I'm working on as heavy as you, man, but that's impressive.
Well, you know, the funny thing is I got into this because I wanted to make my own brand.
Yeah.
And then we got so deep into manufacturing, we never make our own stuff. Like, it's such a big deal when we get staff t-shirts, because now it's, due dates and production orders. And this is going to be paired up with this brand that's launching or a TV show that's debuting or something. And everything is so time frame and quality control that every once in a while I go, guys, we haven't made it like anything cool for us lately, So that's one thing. That was my dream too, man. I just thought it'd be fantastic to kind of have a creative brand and make it. And then I couldn't find it anywhere. Like, I started going down that path. Like, it was so difficult to even, I don't know. It just seemed like at the time I'm in high school and I was like, I'm going to go down this path. And I had to order some t-shirts for a club I was in. And it was such a convoluted process. The final product wasn't what we wanted. And so I got so deep into it that we ended up building like a manufacturing company instead of like an apparel brand. But along the way, like, the best part of it was I got to help other people achieve their goals. And that's been the best, most fun part, is to be able to partner with a business or brand and literally help them take this idea in their head and create something. And that's why we named our shop Alive Print Shop, because we like take this thing that's floating in your head and it's like, you don't even know what it looks like, but you know what it isn't. And we have to try to put that together. And then when a customer goes, that's it, I'm like, we hit the spot. And we just found that if you do that over and over, it turns into a business. And that's success for us.
I kind of want to dive right into your actual business here, because you have a lot of competitors, right? And I don't know, I'm assuming everything is done in-house. So I kind of want to understand your thoughts. You've been doing this for 17 years. Is there a stopping point? Do you plan on exiting? Do you plan on doubling down and growing? And also, with everything that's happening right now, I mean, it's now September 12th, right? Everything that's happening right now with the tariffs and overseas and cheap labor and cheap material, do you see that as an actual threat? Does your competitor see that as an opportunity? What are your thoughts on that as well?
Oh, those are good questions. Man, first of all, I'm doubling down. Like, I am going all in. I'm going to keep pressing in more. It's funny, after 17 years, I feel like we're kind of just opening the can. Like, I'm like, there's so much more. Because the thing is, there's the business part, but there's also the team part. And it took me 17 years to get to, 25,000 square feet, to build a 40 people team. And I'm like, we're barely ready to do our best work. So I'm like more excited than ever. I have no plans of exiting, no plans of selling. I just want to see how big and great we can make this. Like, that's my goal. How far can we take this? I'm not up against any self-imposed due dates or cutoff dates or sell it. Like, I just want to see how far we can run. And the cool part is it's been shifting from me doing the work to helping others and to training and building a team. And I love this part of it. I'm like, I get to assemble the Avengers and find great people with talents. And then it just like multiplies on how creative it gets. So that part I love. We're going to keep growing as much as we can. But on the other side, man, I'll tell you, I am actually like, the tariffs has been one of the biggest scams I've seen in the industry because everybody cranked their pricing up for no reason. I actually saw my prices go down for the first time in 5 years since COVID. And yeah, I was surprised too. I was like reaching out to vendors, and some of my main vendors are like, hey, we already kind of saw this coming. We switched our channels. We did this and that. We've already got a few million pieces in stock after COVID. Like our suppliers got way more, they were kind of prepared. And so with that happening, I was like, great. Like it's actually moving more of an emphasis of working with a local shop and working with someone in the States. At the same time, we saw this massive shift in our industry where people don't want crap. People don't want cheap.
Amen.
Like who wants cheap stuff? Like if you walk around at a trade show and they give you something cheap, you're going to throw it away. Like you'll take the bag because out of obligation. And then you're just instantly looking for like, where can I drop this off somewhere else? And cheap, if your merch is cheap, then people automatically take your brand and they go, you must be cheap.
Yep.
And what I love is I love working with like not necessarily high-end brands, but people that are doing interesting things. I'm working with high-end realtor brands where they have 100 or 200 agents, and the last thing they want is cheap. They actually want quality. They want an emphasis. And because they're spending that much money, they want to work with somebody. They don't want to chat with someone that's overseas or have to go back and forth. Like they want to talk to a real person who I feel like I'm turning more into like the guy who makes your suits than the guy, who makes cheap t-shirts. Cause it's like, well, the reason why you go get a custom suit is they spend time with you. They get you fitted. They do this. They also give you their feedback. You'd look good in, navy blue versus black. Like it matches your eyes, like whatever. We're getting more into that part of the business of curating product that like goes hand in hand with their brand. And then what we're finding is cheap stuff doesn't sell. When the client invests more into high quality, their customers actually love it. So it sells out faster. So yes, it was a bigger investment in the beginning, but the sell-through rate is better. The profit margin's better. Now, like you have people out there wearing your brand. And this is my favorite part about this. I am still so pumped about this. What other type of marketing do people pay you for your brand? I still haven't found it. Every other type of advertising and marketing, I'm spending money on ads. I'm spending money on billboards, spending money on radio. I don't know any other forms of advertising where someone like goes, here, let me buy your brand and pay you money and I'll go wear it around. I go, there's nothing else like it. Like it's the coolest from the advertising point of view. It's the coolest thing out there that someone would pay you to wear your brand. Like it's the coolest thing.
I think your dream also is in line with, our current president, his dream and doubling down into America and bringing industrial plants back in. And to be honest, it's kind of stand true to, as America's actually been formed is we love things made in America, right?
Yeah.
Like that's been the big advertisement, made in America. I think as far as, your suppliers for cloth or whatever the case may be, being prepared for these tariffs and transitioning to, countries like South America and Mexico, where the tariff percentages are a lot smaller comparatively to China or other things like that, is just absolutely brilliant. I love the fact that you're doubling down on yourself, that your team, that your vision, and you're actually believing in this factor. It's actually a breath of fresh air. Now, if we're really going to put this to the test, robotics and AI is huge. It's here. It's also coming. How do you see that affecting you and your business?
Dude, I love that question. And so I keep going back to this YouTube video that I saw about 5 years ago. And this is the weird factor about soft goods. Hard goods, you can manufacture with machines all day long and robots. The problem is all apparel is soft goods. And there was this video that came out about 5 years ago. I think it was from Toyota. I'm not sure if it was exactly them, but they gave a robot a towel and they asked this robot to fold laundry. And it took the robot about 3.5 hours to find the corner of the fabric and then to start working on it. And obviously technology has changed, but like the weird thing about soft goods is I still think we're 10 years away before a t-shirt could a robot could pick up a t-shirt and actually find where to touch it and where to load it and where to, arrange it and manipulate it. because soft goods are just like that. They're stretched, and there's all these variations where, man, eventually there'll be automation that can do it, but I don't think it's anytime close. I mean, we're automating as much as we can. When I started, we were pulling a squeegee, with our bare hands, and we were holding it. We were moving the screens and doing that. Now everything's automated, but there is a person that puts the shirt on the machine. And until some crazy breakthroughs can happen, it's still apparently it's taken a robot a few hours to just identify what part of the shirt is the sleeve. And so that being paired up with the fact that, yeah, stuff can be made overseas. Here's what can't be made overseas. The fact that no one is preparing to wait 60 days. If your event is next week and your merch drop is 2 weeks, like, the one thing that you can't factor overseas is that people drop the ball all the time. Like they're just late, or there's this opportunity that just popped up, and we can't wait for the item to be manufactured back and forth and get on a boat and do the whole thing when I need to be on a trend because I'm doing a merch drop next week or something like that. So those kind of things, I really don't see us going anywhere as long as we still keep having conventions and stuff like that and new ideas. There's going to always need to be a way to have things done like within 14 days or less.
I still think there's something to be said about people companies as well. I think that's going to be the bigger thing, down the road is, making a statement that this is a company ran by people, ran by Americans, made and assembled and actually in America, comparatively to just going the cheaper, quicker route when that eventually does happen. It sounds like you're on the same page of, going with the people route, right? I think eventually it's going to come to a transitional point where you have to make decisions. Do I go the cheaper, more cost-effective, or do I go the more humane route? Which is crazy to even say that out loud, that we're going to get to a point where it's going to be, robots versus humans. And I don't want to make this podcast transition into that point, but I like where your head's at. I like where your element's at. I hope that it is 10 years to that. And I look forward to being in this relationship with you long enough to say, okay, awesome. It's been 10 years. What's your decision now?
The other quote I heard, which this is what stuck in my head, is it's not that AI is going to replace people. It's people using AI will replace old ways of doing things. And that's the part where I'm like, I'm not scared of any of it. Honestly, there's something just so amazing about craftsmanship, about someone that, physically does it. Because we're in a weird section between like our guys that are running printing presses. They're somewhere between an artist and a mechanic. They've got they're doing like maintenance on the machine. They're setting it up and they're turning, different parts and switches and everything, but they have an eye to catch it and make sure the colors and the print and everything looks good. So there's just this blend. And when you get someone who's done it for a few years, it's amazing to watch. Like, it's amazing to watch someone make something. And so I think this is actually this is opening up the industry more for me, because now AI is creating new design opportunities where now people that wanted to make an entry into the market, like Ben's like, oh, I always wanted to do that thing, but I wasn't a designer. I didn't want to wait, pay $30,000 to have someone go design the thing. You can conceptualize things so quick, from thoughts to designs to even full on concepts without it ever having to cost you $1. And now you can make an entry into the market. So I think we're going to see more creativity actually like turn into product in the next few years.
Yeah. Well, I think that this is all a really interesting conversation, right? Because AI it's here. We talked about it a lot on the podcast already, and we talk about it with almost every guest because we get this privilege to interview so many fascinating entrepreneurs from so many different walks of life. And what is there? There's somewhere around the realm of like 300 or something plus different industries in this world. Right. And each industry is going to be impacted so differently. But what's also really fascinating is always the human element of business to me.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for 17 years, right? You've been doing it since you were 10 years old. You've built a company.
Not 10.
Right? You got
17.
Pretty close.
17.
It's okay. It's all right. He's been doing it since he was 10. He's selling T-shirts made of marker to friends in the school, brother. It's just 10. It's okay. And Maybe he's doing it even earlier, selling candy when he was 7. Who cares? Anyway.
Weren't we all though? Come on, like weren't we all like
Dude,
trying to find hustles in elementary school?
Listen, I live in New York. I was out there every fall raking leaves, every winter shoveling snow. I was doing it. Every summer de-weeding. I was out there. I was trying to make $1. And so there's an aspect to this, and this is what I love most about what I do, is watching people grow, watching their mindset blossom, watching their communication, their leadership skills develop. What would you say has been one of the most necessary skills you've had to develop, and why as a leader?
Oh man, that's good. Like working with people and building a team. I think that has been the biggest impact on my life, and learning how to work with people, and learning that when you have good people, like you kind of get out of their way. Like I never thought myself as an organized person, and I had to get over that. And I never thought of myself as a creative person. I thought you were only creative if you could sit down and draw a masterpiece. And I'm literally in the design industry thinking I'm not creative. And so it was like the biggest part was like, I constantly, and I hope I never stop doing this until I die, I want to keep pushing the boundaries of who I think I am. Like that's the part that I think it started. And for the last 17 years, I've been pushing the boundaries of like, okay, I make t-shirts. Like, oh, okay, well, that's it. Well, it's like, well, now I have a team that makes t-shirts. Now I have a business that does this. Well, now I'm not even a t-shirt maker anymore. Now I'm a business person. Now I'm dealing with HR. Now I'm dealing with employees. Now I'm like, my idea of me is that I'm ever evolving. Like that's the only way I can figure out, because I spent 5 years out literally learning how to run a press. The next year to only learn how to teach someone else how to run the press and never touch it again. And it's like being okay, almost like always knowing like that change is consistent. Like that's the only constant, is that change is consistent. You'll spend years getting good at something, just enough to then get out of the way, and then like, and get a new thing, get a new job. But I think a lot of it, man, is just constantly pushing the boundaries. But a lot of it came from, I got exposed to Jim Rohn early on, and I listened to a lot of his. I don't know if you guys know Jim Rohn. He kind of predates Tony Robbins. And so
Tony Robbins' mentor.
His mentor, yeah. So I got exposed to him when I was a teenager. Someone gave me his CD, and I would listen to it driving to school every day. And he would say this. He would say, "Don't try to get through the day. Try to get from the day." And I would listen to that over and over. He said, "Everyone's trying to get through the day. Be someone who gets from the day." And he would say things like, like when it comes to like everyone going out and trying to get something, he's like, don't try to do that. Try to become somebody, and try to become a person of value and these different things. And I was trying to understand that as best a 16-year-old, could, like, and so I just went after that. I still listen to the same things. And then I started reading like John C. Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, and then just going through it. And I mean, the one constant thing is I constantly have to be changing. Like what got me to our first $1 million in sales did not get us to our second. What got us to $5 million in sales won't get us to $10 million in sales. What got us to 5 employees won't get us to 50 employees. And so it's weird to say that it's not a single thing, but it's just being okay with the concept that things are going to constantly change. And I'm not here to fill a position. I'm here to be a part of the team, and that's going to keep evolving.
It's very well said, because it's extremely important for people to understand that. There's 2 major concepts in Japanese that I absolutely love that illustrate the importance of growth and fulfillment. And so Ikigai is the term in Japanese that speaks about what your fulfillment is, what your purpose is. It's the thing that you love doing. It's the thing that the world needs more of. It's your vocation. It's what you could get paid for. It's where your purpose and your fulfillment lies. But what they don't talk about in finding your fulfillment and purpose, I've come to find in a lot of these conversations, is they leave out the other term called Kaizen. Kaizen is the term that talks about consistently working on things in your life, consistently working on improvements and growth, and how you can take what it is that you're doing and always elevate it to the next level. And so I love that you're highlighting this. And I'm equally as curious, because we just talked about what's the most important thing you found as a leader to your growth and your company's elevation. What have you found has been one of the biggest and most daunting problems that you either have yet to solve or have solved to help you elevate to the next level?
That's good. You know what? One of the things that I'm still trying to solve is that in the beginning, and even up to pretty recently, I was very, very goal oriented, and I still am goal oriented. But my goals were like, I want to achieve this. I want to do X, Y, and Z. And when I do that, then I'm going to be happy. You know what I mean? It's
The
like,
biggest lie.
yeah, it's like you know, but I'll tell you, there was 10 years worth of motivation in there, you know.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the moment I checked the box, I mean, I was proud of myself. I was like, man, I checked the box. That was cool. And then I instantly realized there's got to be more, you know. And so, luckily, what the thing that keeps me going is like because God and faith is such a core thing in my life. I realized that you know I can work out a lot of these things through prayer and meditating on the Lord and like constantly going back to the scriptures to be like, okay, I thought that was going to be enough. There's got to be more. And luckily, like God is more. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be He's going to help me through all these things. But yeah, I was really I mean laser focused and motivated on achieving a few things. And I did them, and they were great. And it was fun. Like I want to, you know, have a nice house for my family. I want to take care of like noble things. But at the end, you know, my shift had to go from like I want to achieve things to my shift has been switching over to like I want to help others do it. So like my new kind of core goal for my life this year is I want to build a company that's, you know, successful that takes care of my family. But the part B that I was missing was, and I wanted to create opportunity so others can do the same for their family. I don't want to have a company that's just big enough that it takes care of me. I want it to grow so big that everybody in the company has opportunity of upward mobility and growth. And that's why I had to almost set my goals a lot bigger than I thought I needed to. Because I got to the point where I'm like, cool, I'm okay. And then I look around and I'm like, I can't be the only one that's okay. You know what I mean? Like I've got to make it more. Either people that work for me need to go somewhere else, or I've got to take this thing to such a bigger vision. So that way, if they plan on being here, there's enough here that they can build a career and they can buy a home. And, you know, I mean, just buying a home, like it's twice as much as when it was when I started, you know, in 2014. Like that same house that I bought literally sold for double. Like the other day, my wife sent me a picture and I'm like, who would spend that much money on that tiny little first home? But I'm just realizing like we have to grow just to make room for other people. And I'm really trying to figure out how to navigate that and how to figure that out because I find so much more fulfillment out of honestly seeing other people win. Like that's one of the things that gives me the most joy is like I love celebrating like when other business owners or friends win. I love that so much. I'll be the first one at your house with a roll of paper towels when you buy a new house. Like I'll be the first one, be like, bro, come pick me up in your new car. I don't care if it's something amazing. I don't care like whatever the car is. If it's new to you, I want to ride. Like, you know, and so I love that. And on the other side, I hate with a passion. I hate when I see people start doing well and they start getting crap from their friends and family of who do you think you are? Oh, you must think this, you know, and I'm like, all this person is doing is pouring on all their God-given talent. They're doing their absolute best. And it blows my mind all the time when they start getting hate from the one people that they want affirmation from, because I think their success starts making everybody feel uncomfortable because everyone knows they're capable of more. They're just not doing it in their own life. So when someone starts doing well, it's almost like people start pulling them down. And I hate that. I hate it so much.
You're describing the biggest difference between most entrepreneurs start entrepreneurship because of the fact that they're trying to prove a level of work to themselves or the world, right? Most of us do it because we come from a place of an inferiority or feeling of less than. And that really drives most entrepreneurs to a high level of success. The problem is that a lot of them don't ever get out of that. They still stay, if I have the thing, I'll find happiness, as opposed to saying, I've come to realize after building so much that none of it's brought me any happiness more than a minute. I have to actually figure out who I'm becoming and how I'm showing up. And so, you know, what people confuse is that achieving financial freedom, building a big business, doing these amazing things, they're difficult, but they're not fulfilling in and of themselves. Yeah. And it's about not just doing the things that are difficult financially, because achieving high finances is difficult. It's also about doing what's fulfilling emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. And so I love the transition state that you're in. And I'm sure that it's taken a while to get here because I know the journey is difficult. but I love that you're leaning into that. You're looking at what is work-life integration for me? How do I actually grow the business, but grow myself and make all of it fit in the same space? I love that for you, Austin. I really do. I don't want to rant on this too much though, because I could talk about this all day. I think Shane probably has something he wants to say.
I have a lot to say about this, strictly because I was mentally in that position that I talked to Vin about this a few years ago, where my business, made a certain amount and accomplished a certain thing, and nothing changed, right? As far as like how I felt. Literally it didn't, right? Once
know the feeling.
when you get to financial security and, my wife doesn't work and you don't have to worry about the bills being paid, and, you start get the focus on investments and having income coming in from north, south, east, and west, whatever the case may be, all money does is enhances your security. And you're also able to buy more materialistic things. It's funny. And I never thought ever I was going to be quoting Will Smith, but he says the two things that essentially you find yourself is when you hit rock bottom and when you hit the peak. And he says the only things that you come to when you're actually hitting to the peak, after you've overcome the material wealth and, the successes, quote unquote, and when you are on top, is there's only one way, and it's to either jump down. And at that point, you find yourself at rock bottom. And that's where really the stories come out, as you find yourself and you took a good look into yourself and saying, who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose? And he's like, if you continue to essentially focus on this material world, you'll constantly be hungry for more material. And you'll find out that it's a temporary feeling of relief. But other than that, now it's like, okay, well, what else can I get? Maybe this thing will make me happy. Maybe this boat will make me happy. Maybe this bigger house will make me happy. And it doesn't, because you're constantly in the hunger of looking for more. So I definitely resonate with everything that you're saying. And I love that you're putting back into the people and how can I help and how can I provide and how can I give? Because in my opinion, the Lord, and I want to make this into a religious podcast here, but that's really the only true, the true desire here is have I done what's in your eyes? I really don't want to make this into a religious aspect.
Just do it. Damn it. Share your view.
I feel like I said what I needed to say in regards to that. Yeah. And I don't want to be strongly opinionated into, religious values onto this channel here.
You should.
But I definitely resonate with what you're saying. In regards to seeking approval, this is the exact reason when you come into entrepreneurship and a business owner and you've reached a level of success, Vin and I also talk about this a long time, it's lonely, right? And you've kind of alienated from the people that are no longer in the same realm as you, meaning the friends that you had in high school and college that are still drinking and golfing and still having the jobs, which is great. You now start to resonate with them with just golfing, with, hey, these are my guys that I just go to my car thing with, that I just go to church with. Other than that, you don't connect with them on a deeper level, especially when you're an entrepreneur. This is why I started seeking coaching, right? Coaches that have been to the level that I wanted to, right? When I'm trying to hit 8 figures to 9 figures, I'm talking to people that have been in that realm, who are introducing me to other entrepreneurs that have been in that realm, who now understand exactly what I'm going through and can, help me get to where I need to be, right? You're only as good as the circle of people that you're around with. So my next piece of advice, I guess, would to seek people that are within the same goal-oriented realms as you want to be personally and career-wise. That's, to be honest, until I met Vin, I thought I could build my empire in my underwear alone, and I can't. I got to a certain level.
We have to wear pants at our office, Shane.
Maybe that's what the issue was.
Probably, yeah, that's the problem.
But it was that same thing. It was stagnancy. It's like, why can I not get to where this is? Why can I not overcome this bottleneck? And then as soon as I met Vin and like people like Vin, it was like, oh my gosh, it's all about who you know, and people who can essentially, I don't have to do it by myself is essentially what I'm getting at. There's other people out there to make your path to success, to whatever it is your plans or goals are. There's other people that can aid you to that a lot faster. I didn't have a question. I just resonated so much with everything that you said, and I just wanted to share that.
No, well, I agree with you, but I think it comes in two parts, because I agree. There have been times in my life where I find myself no longer not only association, sometimes disassociating with people in my life because it just didn't match anymore. The things I cared about was not the same things that they cared about. The biggest eye opener I ever had is I went to the DMV one time, and I'm sitting there, and I'm about halfway through my career in my life, and didn't really hit the success I wanted, but I'd been through enough of getting knocked around that I didn't realize it was making me into a stronger person. And then, and I was actually, and I'm sitting there at the DMV, and I meet this friend from high school, and I'm start talking to him. I'm like, dude, it's been like 7-8 years. Like, how are you doing? And like, guys, he hits me with this. He goes, oh, it's been tough, man. My girlfriend, she broke up with me. It's been tough. And I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, yeah, we broke up in February, and it's been tough. And I'm like, bro, it's October. And he's like, yeah, bro, but it's been tough, And I'm thinking, that was six months ago. I was 8 months ago. And I'm thinking, you have to move on. Like, you have to move on. And I kind of realized at that moment, part of being an entrepreneur and running a business is life gets really fast. Life just gets really fast. You're on to the next thing. You honestly forgot about the war that you fought last month, because you're on to the next battle, the next war. And I'm looking at this guy, and I realize I don't think we're in the same planet anymore. And it had nothing to do with income, had nothing to do with these other things. It had to do with the mindset of this guy was dragging 8 months long things to a place that they should have been over in 2 weeks. I'm like, it's about time you get on with your life. And that stuck in my mind. And I'm like, that and one of my mentors early on, he told me, he said, one of the best things I've developed, he goes, I have a very short memory. And at first I was like, oh, that sounds like a bad thing. And he's like, no, it's an excellent thing. I had to develop it. He goes, someone hurt me last week. I forgot about it. He's like, someone did me wrong. I forgot about it. And he shared this with me when I was like 19 or 20. And I realized, like, my wife will tell you, I've got a pretty bad memory too. And it's like, it's almost strategic, because I don't let things stick to me, because I can't give it that much energy. I almost accidentally hired a guy that I fired 2 years ago who was stealing from us. And then I was like, we need to hire someone. And then I'm like, I told my wife, I think that guy's available. And she's like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, what? She's like, do you remember what happened? And I'm like, no. And she's like, that dude was cashing like fake checks. And I'm like, oh yeah. I said, you're right. We probably shouldn't hire him. And she's like, why did you even consider it? And I told her, because I only remember the good parts. Like, I have like, I don't hang on. And, to me, Shane, I can't really separate like my faith from my life, because it's essential. I don't know how you could be an entrepreneur and not have faith, because it's all faith. Like, just hoping that, something's going to be there, and seeing something that doesn't exist and turning it into something that's faith. But I've literally in prayer so many times went and taken, just heaviness and challenges, and times I just wanted to go home and cry because things were just all going sideways, and seemed like, when it goes bad, it all goes bad, and people problems, and, equipment problem, and sales problems, and money problems, all those things. I've gone to like take those things to prayer and literally laid them down and not pick them up, and turn that into a habit, where sometimes I forget. I almost hire a guy that like kind of screwed us over, but I forgot. Like, and so I think sometimes the fastest way to go forward is to stop hanging on to all the things. Like, I used to have conversations in my head where I would be like, oh man, I should have said this to that person when they said that to me. And I realized that conversation happened a month ago. Like, I'm over it. I'm on to I can't let any of that fill up my mind, because I've got to be ready for the next great idea and the next like revelation, or the next whatever it is, that I literally don't have time to get caught up on the bad things. And so I realize I don't associate with, I quickly disassociate. But I think you're right, Shane, is the last few years, I've really put an emphasis on getting around the right people. And to even tie this back to the AI thing, that's why I don't care about AI too much. I mean, I'm going to use it as a tool, but there's something so special about having breakfast with somebody. There's something so special about a handshake still. Like, I actually think we're going to see over the next 10 or 15 years that people actually go back to real in-person business because it's built into us as people. We're not robots.
I hope you're right. We'll see with the newest generation how they adapt to it. But in regards to the older demographic, or even millennials at this point, I mean, I had breakfast with Austin a few weeks ago and shook his hand and build the foundation of the relationship 10 times more than it would have been just on phone calls. So I'm 100% with you on that one. I hope that is the case for mankind here in the next 15, 20 years. I hope it stands true to the end of time here. I hope so.
I think it is. I'll be telling you, I'm leaning into that. I'm literally, as I'm building my team, I'm spending more time literally going on golf trips and doing these different things and meeting people, because I've cold called front desks and got thrown away many, many times. I realized it's much easier to become friends with the owner and then have them Monday morning go, hey, marketing department, we're using Austin. You know what I mean? Like I had a good time doing it. So I really feel like there will never be a replacement for building great relationships.
Austin, let me ask you this. Seem like a well thought out gentleman. What would be one of your best pieces of advice that you can offer to someone who's starting a business?
Just go for it. Just absolutely go for it. And what comes to mind is I had a friend of mine just come in my office two days ago, and he said, hey, I'm going to start this business. And I was like, that's cool. And I said, I actually was looking for someone. It was a window washing business. And he said, hey, I'm going to start this business. And I said, dude, I actually just used a company like that to clean all the windows in my house. And I told him, I called like 10 places before someone answered the phone. And he's like, really? And I was like, bro, you should just get your business listing up like today. And he's like, well, I don't have the business license. I said, you're not doing the work. You're just putting a website up. Just get the leads. I was like, get the leads, get the pre-launch the crap out of this thing. And that's what I've learned a lot is like, just go. Like, sometimes I think it's better to push the car down the hill and figure out how to jumpstart it on the way, instead of like standing around trying to plan everything and making it perfect to find out that there's not even a customer base for that. Like, I think I love to try things out as much as I can. And I've learned from a few friends of mine. So we opened a laser med spa last year. And a friend of mine shared with me and he said, hey, bro, don't wait till day one to start getting customers. And I'm like, whoa, how? Like, we don't have the occupancy permit. We don't have this. And he said, no. Doing the work and getting the customers are completely different things. He's like, 3 months before you do it, you're going to pre-launch the crap out of this thing and you're going to promote it and you're going to do this. And he's like, you're going to sell gift cards and you're going to sell membership. He said, by the time it actually launches, you should have built up this clientele that why can't you do 30 grand day one? And I'm like, well, because I never thought of it. Like, holy crap, I thought I had to just get going. And so that's my thought. If I were to launch a third business today, I would take that concept and I would work it and work the phones, and I would have the Google listing up and I would have the website up and I would get as many leads as I can, maybe before I even sold the very first item, just to make sure there's customers out there that actually want it before you go and put, however much money you're going to invest into it.
I love that. That's a phenomenal sentiment, because so many people get caught up in the how. Yeah. And how is such a crappy question, because how doesn't have any action attached to it, right? If you think about it, anytime you ask a how question, it's like, well, how do I learn this? Or how do I get in touch with that person? Or how do I launch it? Like, that will just lead to more questions. And then after a string of long questions, eventually maybe you'll get to an action item. So I always tell people, I'm like, stop using the word how, start using the word what. What must I do to launch this right now? What must I do to get clients as soon as I open the door in 30 days, right? If you start doing that, it's a cheat code. So I love that advice you just gave, man. It's perfect.
Man, I'm going to steal that. I'm going to steal that in my sales meeting tomorrow. We're not talking about hows. We're talking about what's.
That's it. It's all about what.
Dude, I never thought about that before, but you're right. And I'm like, man, I see. I mean, how many times have you seen people just like, they have to have it all perfect before it goes? And I'm like, in brain surgery, it might have to be perfect. But like, there's so many other industries, even them, they're figuring it out. They're guinea pigging people, you know, but there's a lot of it that I think you can just start and you can just get going. But I think there's also a balance. Here's the part that I hear Jim Rohn in my head, where he was talking about, don't tell people your goals. He had this whole segment about don't share too much, because sometimes if you say you're going to do something and then you go tell everybody you're going to do it, all of the energy that was building up inside of you to go do it, you just released it because you wanted that instant affirmation of like, good job, you're going to start a business. Cool. And it's like, no, go and do it. Like, go and do whatever that thing is. And so I have a question for you guys. How many times in your career have you ever said yes, and you've taken a project or an order, and you, in the middle of it, you had no idea how you're going to actually do it, but you're like, yeah. And then you went and figured it out.
Like every time I've done virtually anything in my business, because I was never an entrepreneur. I came from a 9-to-5 background. My parents were 9-to-5ers. All of my friends were 9-to-5ers. I grew up where when I was young, my parents didn't have money. When I was older, my parents were somewhat middle class. So I had zero knowledge, zero mentors, zero background. Everything was just built off of the back of me saying, I'm just going to do this thing and I'll see how it goes. And then honestly, a lot of the time I failed. Like I got fired by my first ever coaching client miserably. Like I walked in one day, she's like, I don't even know why you're here. You shouldn't be here. You can't help me. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then she fired me like next week. Right. And so for me, it's always been just trying everything and knowing that it most likely won't work out, but I'll just figure it out.
Yeah. Well, and you'll learn along the way. I'm sure that first time you got to fight, like I even tell some of my sales guys, I had a guy that I hired and he just got creamed like day one, like customer ripped him a new one. And then we looked at each other and I said, bro, you might have learned the best lesson you've ever learned. Like, don't do that again. Approach it different. And he never did. Like, it literally was like, I go, that was great. Like, nothing ever gets better when it's good. It only gets better when it hits, like crap hits the fan. And it almost has to be so like visceral that then you finally change as a result, and then it gets better.
Oh yeah.
I agree with the sentiment, but I think there's a lot more to it. I think when you get to a point where you get tons and tons of things being brought your way, right? As an entrepreneur, you get investment opportunities all the time. So instead of just jumping in, I like to be a little bit more methodical about it. And like, for instance, Vin has a couple of laundromats in, and I just invested into another laundromat with Vin. I said, let me see the pitch deck. And I said, this sounds like a phenomenal idea. Let's go. There was another one that just sounded like a no-brainer for reselling shoes. It took me 4 weeks of me just saying yes and whiteboarding it out, which that's what I agree to. Yes, it means actions. So actions mean whiteboard and discovery and essentially going on until I get a hell no, right? I think that's my biggest thing for me is I'm going to continue down this path until I get a, no, this is not going to happen anymore. And this is going to completely shut it off. And yeah, just sign the warehouse documentation and we're ready to start.
Let's go.
Yeah. 4 weeks in the making, but it was still the same thing. It was yes. Okay. We're let's go. Let's do this. So, to a degree, but yes, I
agree with that, Shane, because when I first heard that question, I thought if this is someone who has no experience, the best way to do is just start doing.
Actions are yes.
Until after you built experience and you built finance and you have those other parts. Because when we launched a live print shop, it was just you want to pay me money to make shirts? Cool, I'll take your money, and then I have to go home and figure out how to do it.
Yes.
When we opened the Laser Med Spa, it was completely different. It was 3 years in the making, right. Building medical, getting a medical board together, doing all these different things, making sure it was something, that was feasible. That business we launched the right way. Mm-hmm. We have our 1 year anniversary coming up next month.
Congrats.
We have made money every single month since we've opened. Besides, we put our initial investment. We have gone through a few staff, in the beginning, we tried to have the right team. We've built we found an incredible team, put them together. And the coolest part about it was we were having some kind of issues in the beginning, primarily staff wise. And I told my wife, I said, here's the best part about it. We're looking for someone that's excellent at this and this. There's someone out there that's looking for a place to work at that will care about them, that will, have good equipment, that's well put together. I go, we just have to put those things together.
Yep.
And so like we the only reason I had that mindset is because I have screwed it up so many times for so many years and worrying for a month about something that didn't even make sense. Mm-hmm. So I said, let's just faith and positivity from the beginning. And then we took action. Let's go find this. Let's go. And we were also more clear on who we were looking for, more clear on that. So first time people, I say, just go for it.
Yep.
After you get some experience under your belt, it's like, go for it. But like you said, Shane, but like have a plan, think it out. Like, don't just, don't jump into a hole and be like, money's going to fix it all, because it won't.
No, it's definitely different. It's what is more valuable to you. And I think when you become this multifaceted individual, the really only answer is time. Is it going to take time away from me? And more importantly, am I going to get an ROI? ROI meaning time, or ROI meaning wealth or money, or whatever that ROI essentially means. I think that's really generally what you think is, what is this going to take from me, and what am I going to get from it? But I absolutely agree with you. If you're starting to become an entrepreneur, or wants to become an entrepreneur, or a business owner, two completely different things, do it. Just Nike, please, we're not stealing anything from you. All right.
Do it.
Exactly. Just do it until you either get a yes or a clear no. Right. But you just do it. Make those actions. That's the only difference.
So I got a question now, because we've talked so much about business and personal development, and I love it. But I don't think we've really grasped the full concept of what makes your print company so powerful. From what I do know a little bit about it, from the research and the digging and the snooping and all that good stuff, is that you guys are absolutely phenomenal at the clients, or getting the clients that you work with. You work with very high-end clientele, right? You have a diverse level of clients, Fortune 500 companies, professional sports teams. How do you guys build such a powerful reputation and brand that you get trusted by some of the biggest organizations in the nation?
Good question.
That's a good question, and I have the perfect story for it. Then it comes back to like getting along with people. Like, it really does. And in the beginning, I failed at a bunch of things along the way. And one of the things I promised myself is, I said, I'm never going to overpromise anymore. And I'm not going to overpromise. I'm not going to underdeliver. And I had done that the first few years. I had literally messed it up. I just promised too much. I thought that's what sales was in the beginning. Just promise the world and, swing for it. And it's like, after you strike out a few times, you go, I can't do that anymore. And I was kind of discouraged in myself. And so I said, you know what, I'm not going to overpromise, but I am going to keep my word. And so I started telling customers when they would come to me with crazy requests, like there wasn't enough time or anything, I would say, do you want me to lie to you? Because I physically can't do this job in this time frame. And I'd rather be honest with you up front and tell you I can't do this. I said, what you don't want is me calling you the day before it's due and then me telling you that. And they're like, yeah, you're right. I said, so that's why I can't take the job today. I an hour before this meeting, I had a company that's, nationwide sports team hit us up. They need something due Tuesday. Today's Friday. I can't do it. And so the last thing I'm going to tell them is, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to waste my whole weekend and never see my kids and do all these things. And so I started saying no a lot, because I said, I only want to produce really, really great work. And I only want to have happy customers. And so I'm not going to do the things that doesn't produce great work and doesn't get happy customers. I'm just going to have to say no and turn that away. And that's a scary feeling for a business owner or an entrepreneur, because you're thinking, if I say no, they're going to go away. And what I found is, by saying no, the right people, I feel like I earned the respect. I had a phone call. It's happened a few times, actually. Happened a few years, but I get a phone call. I do one small project with the NBA, like the tiniest project, but I really, really did a great job on it. Working with, we had an NBA G League team here, in Las Vegas. And so I met with those guys, we did some really fun stuff. Well, all of a sudden I get a call from like NBA headquarters, and they go, hey, the summer league is going to be in Las Vegas. We've got like 6 teams. We got these special patches we want to put on, all this stuff. Can you help us with that? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, cool. We're going to have all the team managers call you. And so they each call me and I literally map it out. I'm like, I'm going to do this myself because this is fun. I'm not even going to send a team member. I go to each one of their hotels one after one, and they walk out in the valet and go, here's our bag of all of our jerseys. And they go, you have the patches? I go, I have the patches. They're like, what's your name? I'm like, I'm Austin. And they hand me the entire duffel bag of all the jerseys they need back tomorrow. And I take them and I put them in my car and I go to the next one. I go to 5 different hotels and I've got 5 team jerseys plus all the refs jerseys. And I go, none of these people have any idea who I am. But my reference said Austin's the guy. And so I'm laughing. I'm thinking, Shane, I'm looking at the memorabilia in behind you and I'm going, I could go on eBay right now and sell. I mean, I'll go to prison, but like, look, like I've got a gold mine in my trunk. But I said, as I'm joking about that idea, making myself laugh, I realized the gold mine is me keeping my word. Mm. The gold mine is me doing a great job and following through. And literally, I, got everything done, made sure it got delivered. Really, really did a lot of white glove service on that. And then, next thing, they're all playing and everything goes great. And then they call me back and they're like, wow, this is one of the first time the patches didn't fall off mid-game that had happened somewhere else. And I was like, cool, we did a good job. And we literally have just done that for 17 years. Like that's it. There hasn't been any amazing thing. I have kind of broadened my network and started hanging out with different, people to go do fun things. And I recommend for any entrepreneur, whatever you like to do, go join a club of that. If you like hiking, go join a hiking club. If you like jiu-jitsu, go do jiu-jitsu, like whatever it is. I like cars. I joined a car club. Go find fun things to do and then watch how you'll enjoy your time and meet great people, but you better keep your word. You better keep your word.
Well, I absolutely love that story.
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing that has actually, what I believe has skyrocketed my life, and I was talking about this with a friend of mine earlier today, funny enough, was that it's all about looking to see how you can provide value to others. Mm-hmm. If you are literally just some entrepreneur or somebody out there who's listening to this right now, and you're wondering, how do you step up into bigger and better circles in life? It's become someone of value, do something that is valuable for others, and stop worrying about what you'll get for yourself in return. And that's what I truly have believed would make my life better. And over time, it indefinitely has. It's definitely been the biggest cheat code. And see, the problem is that most people are always looking to see what they can receive instead of what they can give. Yeah. And the business world is filled with takers. The business world says, for me to be successful, I need to figure out what I could get out of you. And if I can't get anything out of you, there's no point for you to be in my life because you're a waste of my time, my energy, my effort, my space. And what I like to do is I like to look at people and I like to ask, what can I give to you? And it's such a shock factor because most people are always sitting there like, why? If you give me that, what are you looking to get from that? And it's like, nothing. Can I have your friendship? And they're like, this is weird. I'll go with it. And then eventually it's like, oh, that's all you want. That is truly all you want. Okay, interesting. Now you have my friendship. What can I give to you? And it's like, that's not why I do it. But I notice that transition happens many, many times because I truly believe that when you seek ways to make people's lives better, they ultimately want to reciprocate because humans at the core are all good people who want to have good, strong relationships, who want to not only feel valuable by being valued, but want to help you feel valuable if they appreciate you, respect you, love you, care about 100%. You. And the only way they could do that is if they see the genuineness of your heart and the value that you provide. So I think
that's so true, Vin. So true. Yeah.
I'd like to publicly vouch for Vin as when I first met him a couple of years ago. He didn't pay me to say this, by the way. It wasn't transactional. It was, I want to follow your success. Like this is what he was telling me. I want to follow your success and, just keep up with you. And that was essentially it. It blossomed into this amazing podcast, into a great friendship. He's actually coaching, my parents. He's coaching my entire C-suite. He's coaching a ton of referrals that I sent him with that say the same exact thing. However, Vin is 1 in 10 million. You just don't find people like you. You don't find people who truly actually care. That's not a transactional base. That's not constantly seeking for what can I take. It's very tough to find. It's very tough to transition your mindset into this type of world. So huge shout out to you, Ben.
Thanks, man. I remember your first words to me was when we hopped on a call, you're like, I don't need a coach. I just want to let you know that. I was like, I don't want to be your coach. I want to be your friend.
It's also explained
hard to get with you, Shane. That's what did it. He's playing hard to get with you.
I'm also very, when it comes to business, and that's how I was. I'm very transactional. It's what do you want? Tell me your pitch. I'll see if I need it or not. This is what I do. Do you need it or not? No. And I've evolved because of him as well. But yes, that was exactly what I said in the beginning.
That's so true, Ben. I've experienced that too, and I think one of the best benefits of that is you actually can end up building a network of people that you enjoy working with, and that's the best part. If everybody's a giver and no one's a taker, then everybody it's not only reciprocal, but you how many times have you I don't want to do this project, it pays well, but I have to deal with that person. That has happened so many times. And eventually you start, you're pretty much planting seeds, and it's you start reaping what you sow by just caring for people. And all of a sudden you don't have to deal with all those, take the project for the money, even though it's going to be a nightmare the whole time,
right? Because
you start building the right network. And it's pretty quick, man. I've noticed that too, is there's a lot of takers. There's a lot of takers out there. And also if you take so much and you never plant, you run dry pretty quick. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Though I think we have, and this is probably more of a moral conversation. I think as givers, you do have a little bit of an obligation to show people what it's like to receive without somebody also trying to take from you, because I think more of children, my daughter, she's 3 and she's still learning what it is to share. She's got her selfish moments.
My kids too.
Right. Because it's a normal thing when you're a kid.
It is normal. Yeah.
You're highly emotional. You see what you like and it's yours. And I've noticed there are 2 types of interactions my daughter has. It's ones where the kids will come over and they'll grab her thing and then she has to fight for it. And then that kid in that relationship is just a constant fight. And then there's other kids, and I've seen this too, where my daughter will go over and she'll grab something from them and then they give it to her. And then they'll give her something else and something else. And then my daughter's standing there with a whole handful of things and she winds up giving it back to her. And I think that's kind of the obligation of us as a giver or as somebody who wants to pour into others is we have an opportunity to teach them. And you get really beautiful moments. Would you mind if I share a really cool moment, actually?
Do it, please. Yeah.
So the other night I got invited to this event. I honestly didn't want to go. I'm a rather antisocial kind of person. And
I see why you guys get along really well.
And I don't even know what the event's about. My friend's like, you have to come and you got to wear a suit. I'm like, well, I hate suits. I hate going out. These are 2 things I dislike. And I have to get there after 7 p.m. I don't like leaving my house, unless it's 6, I'm not going out. So I'm like, do I have to? He's like, I'd really like you here. And I'm like, fine, because you're my friend, I will come. And I get to this location, which I don't even know what it is. I just get there. And he goes, welcome. I wanted you here. And I'm like, why? Now, mind you, where am I? Is a $25 million house. It is a launch event because it just went on the market. My friend is the listing agent. And he goes, I just wanted to let you know, I wanted you here because this is because of you. You connected me with a guy who got me this opportunity to be the agent on this house. And so I really wanted you to come out tonight.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Thanks. But that was that's what's so cool. Things like that. And I didn't even want to be there. I'm standing there. I'm like, what the hell am I even doing here? It's super late. I'm in this big unnecessary house, but I'm here for my friend, and that's what's beautiful. And so I love this conversation. I really hope that the listeners are finding value in this too, because I know that this is more than just a moral, ethical conversation. This is a conversation of what it should be like to really step into entrepreneurship, to grow your circle, to grow your business, we need to not be so transactional. We need to be inspirational in the way we provide value to others. So thank you for bringing all this up, Austin.
No, well, I'm guessing too, Vin. I'm like, if you were to compare like personal accomplishments to like helping your friend, it actually outweighs it, doesn't it? Like you're just like, man, I'm like grateful I was even a part of it. I'm like, you're happy seeing your friend do well.
Of course.
And I think like that's to me, I actually find it actually gives you more fulfillment than you achieving your own thing. You know, like it's a very interesting thing. And that's why, like to bring it back to the Bible for the last time is like, if you plant, you know, if you do these different things, like they grow into more than you ever planted, you know what I mean? And if you sow, you reap it, and these different things. And it's not just about that, but like our mindset is so like take everything like that. But there's a scripture in the Bible that says like the Lord's ways are not our ways. His ways are higher than our ways. And it's like, if you almost do everything backwards, it makes sense. You think I need everything, I need to go take it. Well, it's like the solution is actually go and help everyone achieve all the things they want to, and you'll achieve all your goals along the way, and you'll be more fulfilled. You know, like that's like I love that, because this is something I've been thinking about a lot. Is I'm also the same way, where there's like I'll go into different seasons where I'm like, I don't want to see anybody, like I don't want to go do anything. But when I do that, I have to make myself like get out of that, because I found out there's so much opportunity on the other side of discomfort. And it comes in so many forms. And I almost feel like once you hit that door frame of discomfort or obstacles, it's not a sign that you need to stop. It's actually a sign that you need to press through it, because being outgoing is discomfort, but then you end up meeting your next best friend. Like giving is discomfort, but you planted seeds for the next big harvest in your life. Like going up against a challenge when you want to quit is complete discomfort, and all of a sudden you find the biggest breakthrough in your business. Like I've almost started realizing discomfort is a sign, not that things are going wrong, but that they're actually going right. You just gotta push a little bit harder.
All right, I'll go to pickleball night.
Okay. I said all that so I could convince Shane to come to my house and play some pickleball tonight.
Shane was ready to stay home until he heard that. He's like, damn, I gotta go.
I mean, he's pickleball night every night now. So, you know, I'm coming.
It's not true.
I'm just
It's the first one in like a month and a half. So this is special.
I like it. Great. I can't wait to get a selfie. So with that.
Hey, you have to wear pants though. Pants are required, at least shorts.
We're potty training my almost 2-year-old right now, so we'll have to push it to the next pickleball one. I just meant I'm coming to a pickleball night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I meant for you. You have to wear pants. Like at least it is pants party. Like no, I know you work in your underwear every day, but you have to wear at least shorts when we come to pickleball.
Austin let the intrusive thoughts win. That was not supposed to come out.
I build empires in my underwear, people. There you go.
He's the one who started it. See?
Yeah.
That's where it came from.
I'll wear pants at your house, I promise.
Good. Okay. Thank you. We got kids.
Freaking pantsless entrepreneurs. This is the problem with today's society. Everybody's on computers. You don't know if they're half naked or not.
No, gosh. I have an office with real people. I can't do those kind of things.
Yeah, that's the problem with having physical locations. All right. I got one more business driven question here, because I know we're coming close to the end of time. But I feel like this is something that I'm super curious about as well. Is you produce millions of units of custom apparel annually. Like, how do you ensure quality, right? Physical products are such a massive thing, right? Quality is everything. In fact, when I was learning, and for all the listeners, I'm not an expert in this. I know a brief amount of things like Six Sigma and stuff like that. And what I know about it is it's all about the quality control. Like, 1 in 10 shirts are going to be ripped when you send it to a customer. So now you're trying to figure out, how do I make it 1 in 7, 1 in 6? And maybe you'll never get lower than 1 in 6. But what are the strategies and the tools, and like, how do you guys ensure quality on such massive quantity that you're pumping out on a yearly basis?
Well, luckily, our standard has been less than 3%, which is awesome. But here's what I've also found: sometimes 3% can sneak up and get you all at the same time. Sometimes you can be on a run and you're like, we're batting 1,000, like we're great, and then that 3% just bites you all at once. And so it's something we have to be vigilant on. That's it. And what I talked to my team about this a lot, and we have things in place from sales to art to these different things. And a lot of times the human factor is usually it. And sometimes it's not a defect, but it's more of, well, version one artwork came through and then later version 2 came through, and which one made it to production. And so it's really big. We use Slack and different softwares, but a lot of times every single day we still get our team together in a huddle. And there's something to be said about getting your team together in a huddle. And we have this saying, and I don't remember even where it came from, but it still works. And we say, don't pee on the toilet seat. And the idea is because it's the lowest form of humanity to pee on the toilet seat. And the reason why is someone else has to sit down after you. And we use such a vulgar idea because we wanted to burn it in everybody's head. Like, here's why public restrooms are so horrible. No one cares who sits down after them. But it's like, that can't be in our office. That can't be in our team, because it is an assembly line from sales to pre-production to artwork to setup to running the order to boxing the order to shipping order. All those different things have to happen. And if someone starts peeing on the toilet seat, they are showing that they do not care about the person coming next.
I know,
and that person will not be on our team. We will let that person go in a heartbeat. That person cannot be on our team. And so we're very vigilant about not letting that attitude get in. And that's not even a technical thing. That's a mindset, personality. Wrong person spoils the whole thing attitude. And I really do it. And we have different technical things in place, but multiple things get checked and counted, and so manually sorted, and every shirt gets looked at 3 times before it goes out, things like that. But it really comes down to, I only want to work with people who care. And if you don't care here, go find somewhere else that you want to care, because I found that when I find someone who cares, when they make a mistake, you actually don't have to beat them up. People who really care, I actually have to I have to tell them to stop beating themselves up. And I go, that's who I want. I want OCD, neat freak type of people that it is going to bother them if they did it wrong. And I've had to go through a lot of people to find them. It's hard to find that kind of person, but that's our culture. And our girl who's, who literally is our director of operation, who crushes it. I remember when she first got hired and I took my first trip out of the office, and a customer placed an order and they said, everything's the same as last year except change the year. Well, that note didn't make it through. So we printed, 1,000 shirts the same as last year with the same year as last year.
Oh, boy.
And I'm out of town at a conference and I get a phone call, and our art director, she was our art director at the time, and she calls me and she caught it. And she is so upset. Like, she is so upset because, this was her. And I'm having this conversation with her, and luckily I said, hey, we've got time. I'm going to pull this. I'm going to call this guy. We're going to get a replacement shirts. We're going to get this whole thing fixed before the customer ever sees it. So that's why I said our team, hey, we don't have to be perfect. We just have to make sure by the time it goes out, it's perfect. We got to make sure we give ourselves enough time and energy that if a problem happens, we can fix it before delivery date. And so we do. We fix it. We get it delivered. But I knew that she was the right person, and we've been working together almost 8 years now, and I knew I would work with her for a long time because of how upset she was. And I actually ended up telling her, hey, it's okay. We go through this. And when you find people that care, you don't have to beat them up. Actually, I've found as the leader, I kind of have to dust them off. I'm like, hey, my job's not to kick you while you're down. My job is to dust you off, help you get your confidence back. And then we'll just talk about that. And when we're done, it's over. We're never going to bring it up. And then that type of person, they're never going to forget it. And it's never happened again. We got other issues, but we're working through them, like with different production and QCs, things like that. But that issue has never happened again.
I want a hat or a shirt that says, don't pee on the toilet seat.
It burns in your mind, doesn't it?
I had a very disturbing visual. Yes. Thank you.
Well, and how many times have you gone in and you see like this horrible sight and you go, who the heck was the person who did not care about the next person that was coming behind them?
Yeah. No.
It's like the lowest level of human life form.
No, I've never heard it being said publicly like that, but you're absolutely right.
I say it all the time. Who are these disgusting individuals that are grown men that don't understand how to piss in a hole?
No, absolutely. Ridiculous. I hate that you have to go in there and you have to sigh and you have to like grab a whole bunch of toilet paper and clean it up. Or
it's standards,
like
man.
3 toilet seat covers down. Yeah, trust me, I'm with you on that one.
I know that guy's a loser because he pisses on a toilet seat. Like, that's the biggest determining factor I know. If I want to know about you, I'm just going to ask, do you get it in the bowl or not? And if you say not, I'm like, I don't need to deal with you.
You're not. Well, and that almost should be the first question you ask during every interview.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if someone did this to you, would you be okay with it? Would you do that to someone else? Like, if you knew you'd never get caught, would you do that? And if someone's like, yeah, not a big deal, then you're not working here. Like, go find a place where they're cool with that, but it ain't going to be here.
That's right. That's right. No pissing on the toilet seat. It's the new motto.
Because if you do that to that, you're going to do that to the person that you're supposed to be working with too. And it's just going to come out in other ways.
Yeah, totally. I love it. This has been a freaking phenomenal podcast. I'm super pumped and amped for this to be released. Austin, we're kind of wrapping up here, but before we go, I got to ask, I mean, everybody's got to know this, right? How can people get connected with you, with any of your businesses, the med spa, the print shop? Like, what can people do to either get your product, get involved, or just get connected to you? Shout yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. For the print shop, aliveprintshop.com is the best way to connect with us. I love this business because we get to work with businesses and brands, events, churches, all sorts of different groups to make great quality merch.
Who should be reaching out to you? Who are your clients? Just real quick, give the overview, your clients and all the different cool things you can print. Let everybody know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anyone that's a business or organization that usually needs about 50 shirts or more, we specialize in bulk. And so if you need merch and you actually care about doing great merch, we love working with clients that care about their brand. That's our favorite clients because we like making cool stuff and we like quality stuff and we like people connecting that with their brand and makes them look good. That's who we love to working with. AlivePrintShop.com is the best place to get connected. If you're in Las Vegas, you got to check out Laser Skin Lounge. That's the coolest thing. I mean, we're doing everything from laser hair removal to tattoo removal, which is phenomenal. Some of the technology out there, we went all in and invested in the latest and greatest stuff. And tattoo removal has been one of the coolest things I've learned about in the last few years. And it's some really great technology. Outside of that, I host an event in Las Vegas every few months called Grow and Connect, where we just get a bunch of business owners, entrepreneurs in a room, have a quick keynote, and then just open it up for like Q&A and connecting. So if you follow me on Instagram, Austin Boyd Las Vegas, I always post about our next Grow and Connect coming up. And it's just a great way, like we talked about earlier, get in the room with the right people, get around a bunch of givers. It has been the coolest thing that I've done in the last 2 years of just getting entrepreneurs, business people that have done it for 30 years, people who are thinking about getting started, just get them in the room. You know, we do a reverse Q&A where on stage, we ask the question to everybody in the audience and we watch people just start engaging. It's been the coolest thing ever. And then everyone makes friends and they, go home at the end of the day. And my new sales director, I met him through our Grow and Connect. The guy's come in, has been killer, helping us go to the next level. And so it's like, you never know who you're going to meet, but putting emphasis on your network, it always pays off.
I love that, man. That's phenomenal. If you guys are in Vegas, go to the events. If you guys aren't in Vegas, connect with this man on socials. Like there's so much you should be doing with this guy. Austin, thanks so much for coming on this episode, man. I really loved connecting with you. Stick around for the show for another minute after the show. I got more to talk about. And thanks again. So we really appreciated having you here, all the insights you shared. And I hope everybody shares the same sentiment. Guys, as always, if you like the episode, like, share, follow, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought of today. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one. As always, I'm your host, Vin, and
I'm Shane.
And that was Austin. See you, everybody.